Thank you everyone for joining today's session, and I hope it will be as useful as possible. If at any point you feel like you want to ask some questions, please feel free to stop me and ask me at the moment. My name is Nadira. As you know, I've been at KPMG. I've been working with KPMG for almost 3 years now. This year I'm hoping to complete my graduate program and hoping for the promotion to the role of the assistant manager. So now I can see many people here are with the IT-related background or tech-related backgrounds. I just wanted to mention, so I work at KPMG, so our team is called Forensic Technology. We mainly investigate financial crime, and there is like many different aspects of financial crime we do work with. It is probably much less related to the tech-related jobs than, for example, as opposed to computer science or the software engineering. But we do get involved into data. So specifically, when we do the analysis, we do data analytics for the financial crime to investigate financial crime. So before, also briefly about me, I did my master's degree here at the University of Greenwich with marketing communications. I personally do not come from the technology-related background, but thanks to my master's degree, I found out that my interests is specifically around the technology. And thanks to KPMG for giving me this opportunity to really explore, because also KPMG in consulting and in many graduate programs, which is the topic of today's session, they do provide the professional qualification trainings for you. And before coming to the UK and before doing my master's degree, I also worked in marketing and communications as well. I will not be going through the detailed description of my work experience and etc. It's on the slides. If you would like that, you can take a picture and read about it. Just wanted to show you a bit of the structure of the KPMG, where we sit as a forensic technology team. So overall KPMG structure, and do you know anything about the KPMG out of curiosity? What do you know, if you do know?
Very good question. I know they're located here in
yeah, that's a good thing.
I know too.
Nearby.
Big Four company. One of Big Four companies.
Yeah.
They're mostly auditing services.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody else knows anything? And also people online, please shout. The only thing I cannot see you right away, but
yeah, it's İşte gelirler kimdir? Madde varsa. KPMG hakkında kim ne biladı?
That's okay. That's fine.
Hozircha xabarimiz yo'q, endi o'rganib olamiz aytsa.
Qaytarib borasizmi agar gapirayotgan bo'lsangiz?
Hozircha xabarimiz yo'q deyman, endi o'rganib olamiz sizdan.
Yeah, okay, so for the KPMG, when people know a little bit about the consulting and most of the Big Four companies, they think that the KPMG is the audit firm, but the correct way of saying is a professional services firm. And yes, as you said, the audit being the largest service that we provide. But apart from the audit, we also have consulting, deal advisory, tax and law, and technology and engineering. And since many people, I think with the technology background, you might find out the technology in even in audit, even in consulting, in deal advisory, in everything. But if you want to get, I guess, the professional qualification in technology and engineering, this is the last business service that you need to go for. And specifically forensic technology, we sit as part of the consulting. And even within our team, since this is a very big company, we have, like, I would say around 150 people. And the forensic technology team is divided to the forensic data analytics team, to the INC, which is investigation and compliance, and unstructured analytics. And me, myself, I know this is getting a bit confusing. I personally sit at the forensic data analytics team. So, and what we do at the forensics data analytics team, so we do sanctions review and analytics, transaction monitoring, anti-money laundering, and these two usually go together, transaction monitoring for anti-money laundering. CDD and QIC, these are another term for customer due diligence, and QIC is for know your customer, and data analytics for financial crime. So this is briefly what we do. Now, I know it's probably very confusing information, so if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Anything that caught your attention, interested you?
You mentioned you work with data, right?
Yeah.
What technology do you use? Like, I mean, you are data science engineer, I guess, yeah?
It is not really data science engineering. It's more about the analytics that we do for our clients. For the technology that we use, like KPMG, they have their own products where they do, for example, for sanctions. To screen for sanctions, they have their own technology that is called SSTP. For something more famous, I would say, like we use SQL and Python.
I have a question. You are working on the transactions. What kind of transactions? Are you controlling it, or are you like financial crime? You can see.
Yeah, that you mentioned together, basically. So our forensic technology team is, so we divide our teams with 4 financial services, and we divide 4 sectors. When we say sectors, this is anything not related to financial services. So because I work in financial services, our clients, they would be banks, financial institutions, insurance companies. And if it's sectors, it would be like Coca-Cola, Starbucks, and everything. For transaction monitoring now, so since our clients are banks, we review transactions of their customers to make sure they're not doing any dodgy transactions, basically. There is different metrics and risk identifiers to see from the transaction if there is something weird going on. So yeah, that's what we do. And we just also make sure that there is no money laundering going on.
As you said, you offer multiple services.
Yeah.
General KPMG.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit more?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there any specific area that interested you most?
You said tax management too, right?
Tax and law.
Tax and law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't work in tax and law, but it's the name itself tells about it. But I added some description to it. Comprehensive tax advice. So this is tax advisory to the clients. So they need to know, as far as I know, all the tax regulations. They also advise clients on how to not to breach the law, and at the same time be able to save up on the taxes. I'm not sure what's the right way of saying it, but you're kind of trying to, they help them to pay the taxes still, but try to not to pay as much. They're trying to avoid the paying it, which is the wrong way of saying it. Do you know what I mean? And then also deal advisory, that's what I mentioned, transfer pricing, and indirect. Yeah, these are basically the different types of tax that they deal with. Would you like to work in the tax?
No.
And
I was just wondering.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the areas that provides professional qualification, and this is the area that everybody will always need. Might be a bit boring for some people, I think, but you, in return, get the professional qualification. Any other questions?
About taxes, I have some experience in the financial sector.
Yeah.
I have experience with the tax in home country.
Yeah.
I worked in a construction company. They have to pay they paid more taxes, and then they asked it to refund it. Do you came across such kind of situation with KPMG. KPMG, international company, how KPMG works in that.
I'm sure probably KPMG dealt with the refunds of taxes and stuff, but the only thing is I don't work in tax department at all. Like I don't come across the tax situations. Yeah, sorry, I'm not very useful for this question. Yeah, but anything financial crime related question, happy to answer. And I will at least be able to, if I'm not able to answer, I will at least be able to point you in the right direction how to find out about it. And I'm sure probably this information, if it's like some kind of a big case, might be online as well.
Okay.
You use AI to do. Okay. You go ahead.
Okay. You said like you guys like the transactions like screening as well. My question is based on the UK and Ukraine and Russia war. I'm pretty sure that the KPMG has a contract with the Ukraine banks as well. Like they work with the Ukraine, so they get used to work with the Ukraine banks. And for the existing Ukraine banks which work with the KPMG, how do you guys handle this? Already like under the sanctions, it's frozen, or you still carry on the transactions? And if you carry on the transactions, and you use them?
Okay, I think it's dependent on. I'm sure there will be KPMG Ukraine who will be working with the Ukrainian banks. I know for sure that we do not have Ukrainian banks as a client.
Okay. In the UK branch, you guys don't have any Ukrainian banks as a client.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that if all the Ukrainian organizations are sanctioned, because I don't think so. Russians probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But Ukraine, there is no, what I mean is there is no limit for us to work with them. I personally didn't, but yeah, I know that we don't really do it because if there is a service in that particular country, it usually goes to them. One thing that might happen, we might work in cooperation with the KPMG Ukraine to provide services. So for example, if they do not provide the specific service in that country, at KPMG Ukraine, for example, then we would be able as like a subject matter expertise to help them.
But is it going to be a high risk jurisdiction for the UK?
Ukraine is,
carry on?
yeah, Ukraine is one of the high risk countries, yes, because it's currently in the war. Right?
Yeah, do you use AI to do analytics of the transactions, and what AI do you use?
KPMG has its own internal AI. I think nowadays, I don't know if you've seen on the news or not, but I think it's either was Deloitte or EY had a situation where, because of providing the information from the AI to their client, they were fined or something like that. So we do not use any external AI. We use our own AI. And for analytics, you are recommended to use. But you still need to double check it. So you cannot do the whole report based on the AI's knowledge. So you still need to check the information that is been.
Is the transactions analyzed based on the statistic, and is it called AI using? How do you analyze the statistics to check if it's money laundering or anything like that?
Yeah, that's usually done less. Transaction monitoring is very hard to analyze in AI. I will explain why. Because usually when the client, they come to us, we cannot transfer their data anywhere, even to our laptop in the most of the cases. So that is why it's purely done in their internal system.
Yeah.
So we cannot retrieve it to anywhere. So for transaction monitoring, we don't use it. We can use AI only in the instances where when we cannot figure out something and we need to find out. So that's when AI helps. But transaction monitoring, we mostly do it on Excel. And also, this might be something surprising, but with all the innovations, like the many organizations, we still use a lot of Excel for lots of things.
So you do it manually, close to every transaction and
Pretty
check.
much manually. Yes. You need to do it manually because there is all the banks that are coming to us. They would have their internal, but because these technologies, they cannot they can partly only track the transactions. There should be still the manual review.
Okay, cool.
What do you think about KPMG, or like working on KPMG, and what's the benefit of KPMG between the big four?
Between the big fours. Interesting question.
Did you feel about it, or did you like it?
I think to be able to fully answer your question, I probably need to go to all the big four, work there. But many people say different things about different big four. I personally really enjoy working at KPMG. First of all, I think my team is great. Maybe it's the same situation like in Deloitte, EY, and PwC as well. But when we joined as like my cohort, for example, my team was extremely supportive because everybody knew that we're all new to the industry. We do not have previous experience in consulting, and they were always trying to point us in the right direction. And trainings and the professional qualification. All the big fours and all the banks they do provide it. And also I know that the KPMG has the highest revenue, I think.
Was it the end of the presentation?
It was not, no.
Okay, because we are all asking generic questions.
No,
about
that's fine. That's totally fine. That's the goal of the session, right?
Okay,
To make it more interactive rather than me only talking. Okay. I will assume we don't have more questions, or we can ask along the way, and I'll move on. So now coming to the graduate programs, and I know some of you mentioned that you're graduating this year, right? Anybody has a goal to get to the graduate programs? What are you considering, and are you familiar with the process, we should say, as well?
We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, of course, I will share my experience as well. But just to understand, what you know already, and maybe there's like things I don't need to mention.
I think that's a problem for graduates. That they have their own hiring system of the graduate, like not as a skilled worker, but not for entry level role. They have 12 months like probation periods, and after that they may be promoted.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else knows anything related to the graduate programs? Maybe you? Okay.
I know about it, but I want to talk more about it.
Okay, perfect. Let's move on then. So let's ignore the left part of the slides if you can see it. So now starting from the stages of application, one thing you have mentioned, it's 12 months. It's probably 12 months in some of the cases, dependent on the companies, for the consulting, and for the so I think for the banks, it's like 2 years, but I'm not sure. I need to confirm this information. But for the most of the consulting firms, big fours especially, it is a 3-year program.
For the tech, for the tech topic, so
For the tech, you're saying? For all, I would say. Yeah, for all the industries, it's a 3-year program. I remember somebody mentioned for Deloitte it was 2 years, but I think it changed now. Or they have just slightly different progression stages, which in the end makes like the same years. So within this 3-year program, they give you all the professional qualifications, and as I mentioned, and how to get to that graduate programs. And we probably know that it's very competitive. There is a lot of people applying and trying to get to all these companies, right? So first stage is maybe some people neglect it, but overall screening process. Overall screening process is just basically when you fill out the information about yourself with all your academic qualifications. And when you are at this stage, I would highly recommend to fill it out as detailed as possible. Not like full to the mass, but like very detailed, because if you miss something or if you do not mention something, you might fail from the very first stage, which is also important to move forward to other stages. So then also in my slides, I mentioned do not lie, especially for the academic qualifications, because if you want to show like you did better and stuff, because they will require the, so if you studied in Uzbekistan, for example, they will require the equivalent of A-levels or GCSE to the UK. And they will require it to be translated to English language, obviously, and stamped by the notary. Okay, but this will be done after you're hired. But before, you need to provide there is like columns, and since the marking is different, because in Uzbekistan it's like from 2 to 5, right? But in the UK, I think it's like 60 to 100, something like that, 40 to 100. So that needs to be transcribed. So, and you need to explain it in the application form that you've got, for example, 4 out of 5. So you just literally write it down. Okay.
Can I have a little question here?
Mhm.
Do these details need to be mentioned in cover letter or in some fields that are like allocated for this?
You don't need to really mention it in the cover letter, because usually when there is a section of it and when you fill it out, that's usually self-explanatory, because you choose like what's equivalent, you choose the country, and because this is not the first application from Uzbekistan, they would kind of know what you mean. And for the graduate programs, usually, maybe there are some exceptions, you do not need to provide CV or cover letter, but some companies might ask. But this is not the most important thing. Okay, overall screening, any questions? Yeah.
By overall screening, we are meaning the filling out the application.
Yes, just filling out with your name, with your academic qualifications. You say expected date of graduation, and there's like some things you need to mention. But the main part, I think, at this stage is like, apart from your name and surname, is describing what's your marks. And they ask about like, was the subject of choice, was it math, was it English, was it history? And one of the tips, I think, to be familiar with the process, it's better if you apply just right now. So because you need to be familiar, because if you don't get this year, you need to be able to get to the next year. And personally, that's what I did. Like I was very lucky to meet like people who gave me the advice to apply as soon as possible, as soon as I came to the UK, and I was applying. So if I came to the UK in October, I was already applying in December. So, and I'm very grateful for this person who advised me to do this. Sure.
You said like doing the only information plus information about your education. Is there any additional questions that you need to fill up? Like for example, the motivation to like for applying for the job, or it's in the next steps?
I've seen banks asking this question. So in that case, yes, you need to fill it out. For consulting, I haven't seen it. So I guess it's just dependent on the company. Yeah. And I think if you're depending on your target, right? But if it's like banks and consulting is your target, then you need to apply for each, and you need to be familiar with each of those.
Okay.
So then, like, you know, what's the process?
Yeah, I mean, like in the screening stage.
For the screening stage. Yes.
There is a question, but there is not.
For the motivation.
Such as like motivation, what's your motivation that want to return?
Yeah, like I said, for the consulting, no.
There is no. Okay.
For banks, I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, it means it depends on the sector which you are applying.
Yeah, more on the organization, and also it might be they change their assessment process as well. So last year might be this, and then next year might be something else additional they will add. But I think for the screening, it's just is less about motivation. At least that question is all right.
No.
No. Okay. Should we move on then?
Mhm.
The next stage is also one of the importance, of course, the online assessment. So in that stage, they have several types of tests, and named maybe slightly differently. But most of the companies, they have a test of numerical reasoning or just mathematical questions. Behavioral or psychometric tests. These are more about trying to find out about your personality and what are you like working in a team. So others I mentioned here might be named aptitude test, situational judgment, gamified. So PwC has like games, maybe somebody saw it. And like there is it's not only a game, there is a description why this game is there. I'm mentioning here sample online assessment. There is a lot of online information. There is lots of forums as well where the graduates are discussing about the online assessment and how to pass it. So I think it's a very good thing to do is just to go through and do your research on the stages. For the behavioral and psychometric tests, I think one of the things that is important to show is little less about leadership, but more about you as a team player. Because what they're looking for is they want someone who is easy to get along with, and someone who is able to work with different team members. Because mostly, like consulting job is also about dealing with people. Moving on to the next stage, video interview. This is the stage where many people fail because it's not easy, and it's definitely not easy. It requires lots of preparation, lots of practice. So I'm mentioning here, you will be given different business scenario questions, case studies, and we'll have 1-2 minutes to get prepared. And like this 1-2 minutes goes like second. So it's just literally for some bullet points. That's why you need to be prepared in advance. Again, get prepared to the stage with sample video interviews, learn about the values of each company and make your responses relevant to those values. So yes, every company, including KPMG, they have their own values, which is available online. Each company will have their own values, but they are mostly around the same thing. So our job here is to be able to respond to these questions on the video interview, making kind of a match to the values. Make sense? Yeah, and if you're successful with the video interview, the very last stage, which personally for me, many people said like it is not easy, but I was really enjoying it. The assessment center, it was online for me, and during and after COVID for a bit, but I think some companies are moving now to the offline version, but in person. And it is usually whole day practice with breaks. You will have 15-20 minute breaks and you will have time to rest, but it's a bit intense in a sense, like you will be always like in touch and you will be always talking and interacting with people, answering questions, doing something throughout the full day. Again, it might be different from company to company, but I just mentioned a few of the main things that many companies will have. So first is group and teamwork. So you will be divided into the teams with other applicants, and you will be probably working on some kind of a case study or the business situation. In my case, it was developing innovative idea around something, I think. Yes. We were supposed to develop this innovative idea. And after that, presented to the assessors. I guess one of the main things, there will always be in the team person who will be speaking a lot and who will be speaking less. Somebody will be shy, somebody will be more open to talk, and etc. Your responsibility, one of the main things they are looking for, they're not expecting you to talk the most. They're expecting you to share ideas, but also let other people speak. One of the hints is like, for example, if somebody is very shy, you can advise them, for example, hey, Marina, for example, would you like to add your opinion about it and stuff like that. It means that you're encouraging the other person to speak. It means that you're supporting your team member to also be able to present.
I have a question here.
Sure.
During that interview, in the teamwork, did you have somebody that was kind of watching you, analyzing it within the team.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that's how it usually,
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for mentioning it. Definitely, there will be someone who will be watching you while you're discussing. Yes, this is also another thing to keep in mind. And I think this is the moment where you could show that you're thinking out of the box. So they will hear and they will be taking notes, by the way. So
yeah. I went through the same stage with
Yeah.
suffrages, and we had somebody assessing each situation. So that's how many.
okay, perfect. Yeah, that's very useful as well. And then also after the teamwork, there will be a reflection face to face with the person from the company that you need to share your experience on the teamwork that has been done previously. So you need to try to be positive, do not say anything bad, and say this idea was good and that idea was not bad, but like was from different sides, and you heard different sides of opinions, and the conclusion is this, for example. And there will be follow-up questions from the assessor on your experience of the teamwork. Okay. I'm mentioning here also presentation. In my case, it was a presentation, and the presentation task for me was given in advance. So they shared, they said that you need to prepare a presentation without the slides, but you need to talk about this, and I decided to come up with idea of connecting farmers directly with the people who would like to purchase fresh products and etc. You just need to show that you have come up with a brilliant idea. That's the whole point of it. In some cases, it might not be presentation, it might be something else. And the final interview. Final interview is usually with your direct manager in the team. So it is also a very important stage where you should be able, I would say generally for the assessment center stage, just relax, be prepared, of course, but be yourself as well. Yeah, that's very important. So then also one important point that I forgot to mention for the interview and for a video interview as well, it's they suggest that you need to apply the STAR technique. STAR technique is available also online, but if you're getting prepared for your questions, you need to use the STAR technique. Okay.
Any ideal ratio being successful from these people?
I think it's different from company to company, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, but when they call you, if you're successful, they will tell you you're hired out of this number of people, and it's like amazing feeling. They do it like that. I don't remember what was for KPMG, to be honest. But
Do you have advice who's finishing the master degree in financial management? How to be part of KPMG?
I think that's a very useful area. If you develop I guess you want the industry related to the finance, right?
I tried to internship in Tashkent. Because when I'm doing my bachelor degree, and then there was like they agree, they give me the invitation for the internship, and I have to move to UK. That's why I left it.
You're now considering in the UK, right?
I'm considering now in the UK.
I think you have a very large spectrum of organizations that you could apply in the finance-related jobs. And
I already applied in October. Yeah, I'm going on October.
So you're going through the stages now, then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. For overall advice, I would say it's you need to go. You need to do the proper research. What stages did you pass already?
I applied from the say LinkedIn, and it was.
So you applied for graduate programs through the.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, but I have to check it. But I applied for the graduate program, which is they have the some period of the hiring.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the invitation for the online assessments.
For online.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. If you're at the stage of online assessment, obviously you need to get it. And also keep in, there will be a little time between online assessment and video interview, so you have a bit of time. But for this one specifically, you're probably familiar with the numerical reasoning. And for the finance and tech related jobs, so like, for example, in my case, for financial crime, for example, if I was getting not finance heavy tests, so you will probably be getting more advanced mathematics and stuff, because for finance related jobs, of course, they want someone who has at least like the proper background in finance, or has the mindset of has technical mindset. I would say go through the forums, go through the research. And in the forums, I actually prepared, that's how I prepared for the assessment center, but that's also useful for the online assessment as well, to go through the sample tests. This is the most useful thing. And like I said, try to show like you're a good team player. Is this the first year you're applying?
Yep.
Okay. All the best. Yeah. You will pass.
Maybe we will move.
Yeah, I mean, and you applied for KPMG, you said.
Yeah, like several like auditing companies.
Yeah.
I applied PwC and KPMG, which is I can apply it. Yeah, I'm waiting.
Okay, perfect. Is it in audit or finance related?
Is it finance?
Finance related.
Right.
So yeah, anybody else has any questions?
I'm learning a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, tushunmayotgan bo'lsanglar sразу to'xtatib mani so'ravering, yana qaytarib. Okay.
Consultancy qilamiz biz, finance tarafdan ham, IT poolga tarafdan.
Yeah.
Qilayotgan paytda auditor bo'lib qilayotgan. Consultant bo'lib qilayotganda bu finance tarafdan emas, support qilishga pullarni o'rganib kelgani oson bo'ladi. Non-finance odamlarga.
To'g'ri aytasiz. Depending on the area, the application process will be different.
Demak, shu hozir aytganingizda consultancyda sizlar hozir pullar yordamida ishligini ortiqlarni joyiga qo'yish kerak.
Consultingga ko'p narsa kiradi o'zi. So we sit at the consulting. So financial crime is part of the consulting, but it can be consulting, can be management consulting, it can be banking consulting, and etc. etc. So it combines a lot of things. But you're right. I think for consulting, it would be applications process will be less technical probably. But if you're applying specific finance-related jobs, technology-related jobs, it is different process, of course. That's why it's important. So I'm mentioning here to apply for these jobs as early as possible. And like you mentioned, also there is a window in which you can apply. It usually for consulting, I think banks they close earlier. So starting from, I know that banks they announce from October, I think, because November consulting is already. So what I mean is, banks they finish up earlier the application process and the hiring process. Consulting they might be hiring until like February, March, like they have some additional programs and so. So yeah, it's the best to apply because sometimes also you might be a great fit, you did great with your tests. But then you were just late a little bit. That's why the other person who was equally good, he got the job, but you didn't get the job. So yeah.
I have a question regarding I guess it's like when I applied as a beginner level, I have to know some kind of tools. Let's say Word, Excel.
Yeah.
1C, SAP. And just share with, do you like using such kind of tools like KPMG?
Yeah. For the if you see in the purple box, there is tips that are relevant for all the companies, and for consulting for the graduate programs, they usually say like it's not important that you need to have like certain skills. I think it's a one big lie, because the knowledge of MS Office, specifically Excel and PowerPoint, is extremely important. When you get to the consulting, especially, I would believe that the same situation with banks as well. So it's very good if you know beforehand, before hiring, this like basic technical skills, right? Apart from the soft skills as well. Yeah, because when they're hiring, they're definitely looking for your soft skills, but it's a great advantage because you will be more useful in the team, to contribute to the team, if you already have these skills. Others, as I mentioned before, for the technology related, I think nowadays Python is something that I need to learn myself as well. And SQL and Python are two main applications that are being used for coding and data analytics. Like in many different.
SQL means MS SQL.
SQL managed
Did you ever-
services.
did you
Yes,
ever
yes,
use it?
yes, of course.
It's
I'm
Microsoft
using it,
version.
and so we use two. So there is the SQL Server Management, and the Google one,
MS
BigQuery.
SQL Server Management.
I'm a bit confused with
There is
this.
a difference because most of the Microsoft users say SQL, but generally SQL is so that I'm
All right.
fine.
Yeah.
If you are using Microsoft products,
Yes.
Microsoft. She's using SQL. There's a structured query language which used for database. At Microsoft, all its product named SQL. Okay? But SQL is a generic name for all databases. And one of them is Microsoft SQL, and there are a bunch of other databases. Okay, so most of people are confusing because they learn the basics of SQL, who can work in any database, and then when they come to interview and they cannot work on MS SQL, they're confusing why they don't.
But that's interesting. I didn't know about that.
For
Because,
example, do you use Google Spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Is it Excel?
no.
No. You see, Excel
But
and
the
spreadsheet.
coding is the same, isn't it?
Huh?
Coding is the same. The queries are the same.
Coding is not the same for SQL.
There's minor differences.
No, for MS SQL, very big difference. Because there are some specific words, Microsoft and Oracle, they like you said, PwC, they gamification, KPMG is less gamification. The same happened in history with Microsoft and Oracle. They change the wording, they change the structure.
Yeah.
So MS SQL structure is different from the generic SQL structure.
Alright.
So many people are fail over there because the interviewer is asking MS SQL as a SQL, but the other people are thinking that they know SQL, but they know generic SQL, the other parallel SQL, not the Microsoft one.
Okay.
It also called the SQL dialect.
Yeah, SQL dialect is in general.
Which
But
one is more popular?
MS SQL is a product name.
Yeah. I might.
Sorry about this. Which one is more popular right now?
The SQL itself is more popular.
I know which version of this MS or the general one.
General one is more popular
Oh, I see.
because MS is part of general.
Oh,
I think it really depends on the company, which platform they use. Yeah, basically, for example, if they use the Microsoft source, definitely they're going to use the MS source.
My concern is about the wording.
No, I got the
Name
point.
as a
I got the
different
point. I'm just like asking to clarify.
Because sometimes when they ask for Excel, and you know that spreadsheet, they say, yeah, I know Excel, but Excel is different than Google spreadsheet. there are many formulas in Excel, so that accountant people, audit people, finance people are using Excel because there are many thousands of formulas which are ready for finance researchers, finance tasks. But in spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet, there are less formulas. You cannot do most of the things what you can do in Excel. But Google spreadsheet is more for online and cloud. When you connect several spreadsheets, when you do some online translations, do some online website connection, and so on. So in general, they are the same. But if you deep dive, they are different. So that I was asking about the name or in general.
Yeah, if I didn't confuse anything, so we do use SQL Server Management, which is Microsoft product. But we use Google as well. We use Google version.
For what?
For one of our projects. For the data analytics, we used it.
You use Google Big Data?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Google Big Data is similar to Microsoft Power BI.
Yeah.
Most of them are for analytics of big information. When you have spreadsheets, but more than Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah, to do the dashboards. Yeah. I think you would be the better advisor when it comes to the technical advice. That's for sure.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
confidential data that you're sharing the tools that you use at KPMG?
But these are widely known tools. Everybody uses them. It's not confidential. I'm not sharing client information. That's the main thing.
Don't throw her under the bus. Don't throw her under the bus.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, for the graduate programs, you can apply once a year. Something to keep in mind, and just that's why I say apply even if you're in your second year. Just a moment, on the second year or first year, still apply to be familiar with the process.
But if you say you like be familiar with it, they always have you on the system.
Yeah.
The next year when you apply, they look at it. They're like, "Oh, that person didn't pass. I wonder why they do. They not look into that?"
I don't know. Maybe they still have it, but it's not an issue.
And you apply.
You're not limited from applying again, right? So next year you can apply again.
Can you apply from a different profile, maybe?
You just said not to lie.
You can, of course, but I think you will be rejected because, well, depending on how you do things. I don't want to give this weird advice.
Yeah, a friend of mine applied for Google, and the other year he applied from a different profile, so that they don't know you, and he got into it.
You got into?
Okay, what steps does it exactly take? Break it down now.
So basically, apply in the first year from let's say one profile with one different account, and in the other year, he was told to apply from a different account.
When you say different account, what do you mean by different?
Google Gmail.
You just add different Google name or anything.
But why the next year he didn't apply with the same account?
So they don't know you failed last year.
He means if they keep your data from previous year,
Yeah, but even in
they
that
can
case, I don't
check
think it's
and
a
maybe
problem.
say, "Oh, you're blacklisted already."
I mean,
To be honest, I don't think it's going to be a
Yeah,
problem because it's fine to get rejection, and every network you get rejected. Like
yeah,
several
you
times.
never know, you know.
One of my friends, who is at the moment who is working in the EBRD, he got rejected 6 times, and the 7th time he was
Wow,
nice.
I think it's not about your Gmail or email. It's regarding about your experience, skills. I think.
Oh, you're just talking about, doesn't matter if you reject it.
Yeah.
For 1 year before. Do they care?
I would say
depends.
it doesn't matter now. That's like you can fail. That's fine. And I personally failed on my first year, and I think even second year. I don't remember but I think I failed 2 times, and on the third time I got the KPMG. Yeah.
Maybe it might be different.
And I was applying all the time from the same email.
وش نعرفين اللي كمان قصدت الصوت مش إذا بكل وش اسم كويس عادي جدا qualification جدا
Lakin boshqa
Fakat yine login bo'layotgan paytingizda create account qilasiz. Create account deganingizda просто boshqa
Ah.
email adresi ver bak. Olur.
Ah,
O
sure.
yani datalarda kurban.
Hold on, like how does that make sense to one? Like does that add them?
Because your surname is the date of birth is the address is the.
They still it will match up, yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Just telling what happened in fact, you know.
No, no,
I'm
no.
We're
not
not trying to
sure
attack
what
you.
happened, but
It's just coincidence. That's what he's trying to say.
Bu maliki yani o da kızıktım. Çünkü bazı kampanyalar işleyemem. Orta mesela avval topshirgan bo'lsa istovizga qarashadi. Shu qanchalik ta'sir qiladi degan
Yeah, but maybe they look at if there was any improvement or not. But I think for the most part, it doesn't really matter if you. I don't know. Because if they were judging with my applications, they would never hire me. I think.
So when is the deadline for graduate
For the deadline, it's a window, right? So you need to be start applying from October until February, but do not wait until February. Apply as soon as possible.
What's the difference?
Because for me, with KPMG, for example, they in February they finished graduate roles, for I think for almost everything. So that means February is the closure.
Is it like a date set for that?
It's very dependent on the industry, dependent on the company. The best way to deal with these deadlines is to sign up for the newsletter when they announce the graduate openings. That's when you do not miss it, and you're prepared before October, November. So you apply immediately as they open it, so that another person will not jump onto the program before you.
So you're saying, let's say if the deadline is 1st of February, and I
This is
apply,
the end of hiring. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
That
end of
means-
hiring, and I apply on the day before, so it's the 1st of January, I have less chances than the guy who applied 1st of October. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Why? Why is that? Because I am in the frame of this.
because there will be a lot of people who will apply.
Okay.
And
And
so
they take from the first.
yes, so the review is like whoever who applies first, of course, and whoever who applied first, they will be moving on to the next stage earlier than, of course, if they are successful, earlier than you did, for example.
Oh, so you mean if I apply, let's say 1st
Yeah,
of
it's
October,
like I think it's in like badges, like from my understanding. I am not the recruiter,
they
obviously.
start reviewing from the beginning. I thought they will finish this hiring, I mean, application processing time frame, and then they will start. They collect and they will start
What's it
reviewing
doing?
the application.
No, they're not gonna wait for all,
okay.
each
So
of
they
them. And so
review
they
as
have for
they
each
go, yeah?
stage they have probably windows, and whoever who manages to apply to within that window.
Along the way.
I think it's like
That's
a
what
key-
Jawahar
key
said about
comes
Bloomberg.
First,
Yeah.
goes out first.
Yeah,
First come,
that's right.
first served basis
Yeah.
again.
Yes, definitely.
This model. Certificate again, software. That's civil and social. The stop is civil again. Now then, they limit. Now then, apply get it. That's not so much like show. In the same thing, they go omats like area.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Maybe they are following these rules.
Bir xil kompaniyaga lekin randomizer tutilgan, doğrusunu aytsam.
Çünkü bayağı etkisi var. Mesela less qualified person hem de değil. Ne motivate qolishi mumkin. Yani brain desası, başka bir şey. Sen topsiganiga qaraganda.
Bu yerda hamma zo'r savol beryapti. Ani onlayn kutib turganlardan ham so'raylik.
Da, hozir aytmoqchiman.
Yo'q. Yomon qildingiz.
O'zbekiston degan o'zi hech bo'ldi.
Bor. O'zbekistonda joyga kelganlar bor yozishdi.
Online kelganlar sizlarni ovozini bizga eshitmoqda. Eshitib targetlar bor.
Tijara bor ekanlar. Hozirda ham bor.
Kanalga qo'yilgan vaqtda kanalga joylashgan.
Mayli. Javob boshmasin.
One last slide. I'm not going to bore you too much. Interview questions, something that you can find out online as well. Some of the basic questions, like tell me about yourself, why you're applying for that specific company, and etc. And then So the other questions, something like, tell me about the time you worked in a team and faced significant challenge, or describe a colleague you had to collaborate with it, and he was difficult, he or she was difficult, and etc. These kind of questions you might come across during the video interview and the behavioral tests as well. So it's good to be prepared. For the investment banking roles, trading and technology, you need to be prepared to answer more technical questions. So I've put some examples, like something like, what are derivatives? What do you know about derivatives? And how interest rate impact this and that, and etc. It's best if you know this kind of questions. And use the resources, read a lot, investigate a lot, I would say. One of the useful websites for me, like already having a career, I still look at it, efinancialcareers.com. That's where you can read about the careers and about the potential questions, anything career-related advice for the finance and technology roles. I've added graduate forums as well, and just out of interest, if you're trying to get into the industry, I think it's useful to sign up for the Financial Times as well and read it from time to time as well. Yeah, that's all for me for today. I hope this was it.
Non-verbal reasoning o'xshagan narsa bor qani shakillar bilan savollar berishadi. Bunaqalar ham bormi? Bunaqa ham berishadi.
Bor edi, bankda bor edi, ko'rganman. Definitely.
Logic questions o'xshagan.
Logic question.
Yeah, I found it very hard. Tushgan edi, Morgan Stanley'da tushgan edi menimcha. There's a logical reasoning, to'g'rimi?
Savol javob.
Shakil beradi-da, to'rtinchisi qaysi bo'lishi mumkin deydi. Sizga ABCD beradi. Siz tanlashingiz kerak. Logical anaqasi bor, ketma-ketligi bor. Nima uchun shuligi? Lekin aytilmaydi. IQ tekshiradi.
Yoki to'rtta figura beradi. Beshinchisini mana shu figuralar orqali topgan.
Zo'r.
Teskoga topshirganimda shunaqa savollar beradi. Teskoga. Olishmagan.
Shunday debsana.
To'g'ri topshirdi. To'g'riga management rolidagi topshirgan. Regional topshirgan. O'shanda unga shunaqa bo'lishi. Mail anaqasi o'sha edi.
Platforma bor, o'sha platforma kirib fax siteda bo'ladi. Amberjack degani e-campaign degan ikkita platforma. O'sha ko'p katta yuridik firmalar, finansiy institutlar, banklar yoki
Nima dedingiz? Logosi bormi?
First is Amberjack. It's Amberjack. The second one is Campinity. It's CAPPINITY.
Okay, you gotta go back. So CAPPFI.
CAPPINITY.
Yeah, okay.
Campinity. أنا خليني أدرب كمان.
Просто меня anaqa chaqirishim yaxshi narsaga.
Menga selishku.
Keçitda bolasi bo'ldi-da, yaxshi mana shu narsa. Voyga hozir aytgan. Keçitasi bilan gaplashdik. Yadro fizikasi bo'yicha o'qiyapti. Biroq islom yozuvchisi. Yadro bilan ishlaydigan bo'lib, qo'pilgan bomba bilan. O'shani fizika, mexanika bilan o'qiyapti. Matematika bo'yicha shu narsa bor. O'sha bilan o'qiyapti-da, mastersda dedi, finance qilmoqchi. Nimaga unaqa qilgansan desa, aytayotdiki, chunki deydi, creative thinkingni va engineeringni ko'rganman deydi, o'shanga borganman. Masalan, o'tib ketyapsan deydi, odamlarga ham chiroyli dashbord yopib o'tirgan bo'lsa, reklama ekan deb o'tib ketadi. Injener deydi, LEDlarni o'ylaydi deydi, qanaqa chiroy yo'qotdi, nima uchun rangi bunaqa bo'lyapti, shuni o'ylaydi deydi. Va o'shani o'rganishni xohlaganman, o'shanga bachelorni o'qiganman. Ana endi finance-ga xos ketyapsan, chunki yo'qdi, finance bilan audit qilishadi, boshqa qilishadi. Finance hisob-kitoblarim deydi, anaqanikilar, men o'qigan matematikda, fizikdagilar bir xil o'qitadi. Monte Carlo'ni ishlatasizlar. Matematika ketadi. Monte Carlo usuli bor. Statistikani
Yo'q, siz
bu hamma probabilityni hisoblash juda qiyin. O'shanisi random check qilasizlar. O'sha random check Monte Carlo hisoblanadi. Shunga o'xshaganlar bor yoki dissemination bor. Issiqlikning tarqalishi bor. Masalan, siz o'rtadan yo'q yoqsiz, temperda issiqlikni tarqab ketadi, borgan sari kamayib boradi. Xuddi shunaqa budjeting ham xuddi shunaqa prinsipga ishlaydi. O'shalarni ko'rdim, qarasam bir xil ekan deyapti. Nazarat formulasini tushunaman, fikrlashni tushunaman. Pulda finance o'shanga master's qildim. O'shada mana koskada o'sha automatedda ko'pchilik oddiy user bo'lib ishlatganligi uchun mohiyatiga yetmaydi. U mohiyatiga yetadigan odamga osonroq.
O'rta. Siz yo'q-ku o'zi. Siz uni topishingiz qiyin-ku ham. Buni spesialniy yasash kerak uchun biz master anaqada bu narsa to'g'risida o'qishadi. Mana boyga savol nozam dedi.
5tada 5-safaring topish.
Da, eng qizig'i bu event o'sha master degree berildi. 4 ta figurani yasaysiz, biz 4 tasini 4 ta mamlakat cho'zib qo'yganmiz-da. 1, 2, 3, 4 keyin keldi-da, uni birlashtirsak o'rtada chiqib keladi. Shunga o'xshagan savollarda.
O'sha o'rtani aytdimmi, to'g'rimi?
Da, o'rta to'g'ri.
O'rtaga qo'ymagansiz.
Biz o'rtaga qo'ymaganmiz. Eng qizig'i siz uni topa olmaysiz. Siz yasaysiz, mana yasadim, 2, mana yasadim, 3, mana yasadim, 4 yasadim. Qani berishdingiz?
Material yasay boradi.
To'g'ri.
Keyin 5-sini hammasini birlashtirsangiz 5-siga chiqishingiz.
Kimda yana qanaqa savollar bor? Ajab yo'g'im, networkingga davom ettirsa kerak bular. Rahmat opam.
Sizlarga rahmat. O'zim ham juda ham ko'p o'rgandim.
Zo'r bo'ldi.
Juda ham tayyorlanib ma'lumotga ega bo'ldim. Birinchi marta KPMG haqida rosa ko'p eshitganman. Lekin hech nima deydi, o'tirib bir nimanidir conversation bo'lmagan. Nima qilishadi, nima ishlari, o'zi qanaqa ishga olishadi. So that was very useful. Thank you so much. Now I know. They ask me what they do. Thank you.
Hozir ko'p finance ishlayotganlarda ko'proq informatsiya bor. Big Four to'g'risida. Ularning targeti va Big Fourda. Endi men o'zim undan kelib chiqqan holda birinchi o'rinda qaysi birini tanlasam desa, KPMG, chunki o'tda unlimited, o'rganishingiz kerak bo'lgan narsa faqat finance o'rganaman kirmaysiz, o'tda juda ham ko'p. Big Four o'shanisi yaxshi.
They not only consider Big Four, there is like Big 10, I think, as well. So the other consulting firms, they would have a similar flows.
Consulting,
Accenture, Fidelity. This kind
even consulting only. Yeah.
for the consulting. And I'm sure using like banks go like higher tires, right? I think as far as I know.